Yo.
Yes, sir.
What's up, guys? Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in three, two, 1.
On the troll. On the troll.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to Mzansi Reality. We are here. We are gathered here again. And we hope that today it's not going to be long. Because today, guys, this is the time where we say, we are not going live. We just wanted to tell you. Say, joking, guys. We are here. Greetings from me, Mr. Almas, and thank you for being patient and being with us. And it has been a roller coaster. Emily, greet our people.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Here we analyze court cases, that are currently on trial. And Senzo Meyiwa Trial has been in our hearts.
Right, just a quick reminder. This is how you join.
Yes. How you subscribe, how you join, how you like the video. Just watch that mini demonstration right there on the side of the screen. It will show you which buttons you need to press to do what exactly. So subscribing, sharing, as well as liking the video, which we emphasize. Like. And also joining the membership.
Yeah, greetings to everyone. Greetings.
Hi, Sibuyile. It's another Monday.
Yeah.
Another deliberation of what happened in the Senzo Meyiwa trial. So, yeah, Mr. Anonymous, you said it. You said something right about Steyn's data.
Did I say it?
Something right.
Yeah, I did. Right. And then I was told that this is the Honorable Constable, Colonel.
Professional
of 40 years. I said, no, something is not matching. Something is not making sense. But yeah, there we go. Let us unpack those loopholes, because we say something, we still need to show some of the other people that this is why this data was not giving for me. And I did. It was never giving that data.
You pointed us out.
Never. It was never giving.
Yes. And it was put to cross-examination today. So State Prosecutor Advocate Judge Baloyi said that there is one issue that he needed to iron out with State before cross-examination started. The State started with clarifying a few points that were made last week by the witness, Steyn clarifying one issue. And he said, if you can remember from last Friday's examination with Advocate Baloyi, Steyn mentioned the name Mabungu and attributed Mabungu's numbers to that of accused number 5, Fisokuhle Ntuli. So it turns out Mabungu is not accused number 5. It's another individual who passed on. And Baloyi asked, you said Mabungu had contacted accused number 1 and 2, and Steyn started by making a correction, saying that according to the cell phone records, accused 3, Carlos Mthobisi Mncube, didn't communicate directly with accused 1 and 2, and had only spoken to a person by the name of Mabungu, who spoke to accused 1, Muzisbia, and accused 2, Bongani Ntanzi.
Yeah.
Now, he says accused number 3 did not communicate directly with accused 1 and 2, but there was common contact. Another correction is that Steyn made is that the distance between the crime scene and the hospital, he stated it today that it is 4.02 kilometers. He further added the distance between the crime scene and the hospital being 5.23 kilometers. Not flying distance, but walking or driving distance.
Yes.
So Ramos Sipili on the 9th of April asks, 2020, you received info in the form of a disc from Brigadier Gininda with information about certain targets. And he asked, would I be correct to say that at the time, targets were the people who were in the house when the incident occurred? And then Steyn said yes. Ramos Sipili said, you got a disc and the downloads from Gininda on certain targets. That was the people that were in the house. Yes. And when you are handed these items, did Brigadier Gininda give you the background information about the incident concerned or the case? And Steyn said, yes, he did give me a short background. He mentioned to me that it was a burglar case at Voslera's case and the case number, and he asked me to analyze and see which linkages can be established.
Okay.
Ramosipile then asked, and when you take over the investigation, it pertains to the analysis of call detail records in 2020, and the incident occurred in October 2014. Were there previous analysis done or previously on the targets? And Steyn said, I didn't receive any analysis from him. I agreed it should be done because it was investigated by different teams, but I didn't receive it. I only received raw data from the service providers. He said, I didn't receive any chart form from any other analyst. But then on Friday, he didn't mention anything about service providers before. So I was kind of shocked at that point. I'm like, why including service providers now? And Ramosipile said, did you ask him why any other analysis was not done in 2014 and immediately after the incident occurred? And Steyn said, I didn't ask him. I just mentioned I received raw data from him. So I didn't question him because I received a new task from him. And I know he is a new investigation team on the incident on the matter.
Yes.
Ramosipile then asked, with respect to my client, accused 1 and 2, who were arrested respectively, accused 1 was arrested on the 9th of May 2020 and accused 2 on the 16th of June 2020. After they were arrested, their phones were confiscated from them. Did you later on receive the phones for the purposes of downloads or extracts from them? What was the results? And Steyn said there wasn't enough download evidence to analyze it. That's why I didn't mention anything in my testimony. Wow, look at that. With the items received from Brigadier Gininda, starting with a CD, what was contained in the CD? This is Ramosipile asking. And Steyn said the CD in the beginning contained more information of the residents of the house because we were working on Section 205, which received from previous investigation teams. The Section 205 is it the call details record in respect of people that were in the house from their cell phones? And Steyn said that's correct. I can also mention that there was a lot of other numbers that previous investigation teams also applied for, so it was also included. It was not only the people in the house, but it included the people that were in the house. From the people that were in the house, from Zandie Khumalo's testimony, Mthobisi Mncube did not return to the scene of the crime that night, but rather he stayed at the hospital and he later on went to his house. Did you later on receive his cell phone for download purposes and extraction?
Yes.
And Steyn said, I can't testify on that. I only received the download evidence from the downloader, who handed it over to Brigadier Gininda, from which I received it, before I can testify on it. Then Ramosipile asked, the evidence of Mthobisi Mncube told us that she borrowed her phones to Zandie Khumalo and Mthobisi Mncube, who both made calls to people she doesn't know, but she overheard them saying to those people, Nzori has been shot. My question is, did you do analysis on her phone? Steyn said, no, I can't recall any of that. So when her cell phone was later returned to her, Sello Chico Twala returned the call on her number, meaning either Kelly or Mtogo had called Chico on her cell phone. Steyn said, I cannot comment on anything that wasn't in my possession. So whose photographs were you checking, and what was the nature of those photographs? Steyn says the photographs on the downloads of the people in the house.
Welcome, Isaiah. Sorry, Emily. Welcome, Isaiah, as our member. Thank you for joining
Hi,
us.
Isaiah. Welcome. He says, I did print them and handed them to the investigation team. So to further check whether there was communication between Zandie Khumalo with a cell phone number that was mentioned and Thamsanqa Gabuza with the cell phone that was mentioned, Steyn said that I can't recall if I did mention in my introduction when I gave my instructions, which I received from Brigadier Gininda, that I would mention such. Well, there's a disclaimer with this one because it wasn't mentioned in his examination. The information is there. The defense counsel are sitting with it. However, he didn't testify about it on Friday. Are they not allowed to probe on pages he did not testify with regards to?
Look, I think they are. It's within their right, but I think that's how the information is going to keep on coming, because they also have what I believe what Baloyi has. If he's got nothing else to show on his sleeve, and that guy is full of surprises. I'm hoping that everything is in front of them, so they are able to also view and say this is not important, this is important, and how is that being said or not being said affect their case itself. So yeah, true, it might be there. If it's with them, then it's their turn to actually ask about it.
So Thamsanqa Gabuza is a South African soccer player who plays as a striker for SuperSport United in South Africa and Bafana Bafana. So at the time in 2014, I don't know what team he was playing for, honey.
He was playing for Pirate.
He was playing for Pirate.
Yes.
Okay. So Steyn said he never mentioned names on page 3. Okay, Ramasipili moved on to say, if we refer to CDR, the call data records. What specifically are we talking about? Steyn said section 205, which the brigadier or someone receives from the service provider. You can also determine the last calls from the downloads. So it seems like if there's any service providing information that was received, it was not received by Colonel Steyn. It was rather received by Brigadier Gininda.
Let us find a way of so now people understand when at some point people were saying that I sounded like I'm attacking a colonel. No, the whole process. And I did mention that if someone takes data from one hand to another hand until it reaches the third one,
Yes.
that data has went through a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot of verification that's needed.
Yes.
Hence, the source of that data, if anything, you should be the first person to download it. Because look now.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. In all honesty, beside the judge, because I still need to talk about the judge. There's something that I'm noticing about the judge, similarities that I'm noticing about the judge. Similar to Maumela.
Ooh. So the 205 will tell you when the call took place. That is the date and time of that. Steyn said that's correct. Call lasted in minutes or seconds. Yes, that's correct. The call duration. And it will show you who called whom, the source and the destination of the number that's been called. Correct. And Steyn said the destination of the caller, not the guy who received the call. The one who received the call, you don't know where they are. So he's saying that he can only pick the tower of the person who dialed, not the person who received. So MOC, mobile originating call, that is when I'm making the call, and MTC is terminating, that's when I receive the call. So you need a section 205 to know the tower of the one receiving the call. So Ramos Sipili says that, so the CDR doesn't show the content of what was said in a telephone call.
Yeah.
And Steyn said, no, it doesn't. But having a conversation with someone else doesn't mean it's a criminal offense unless you have someone listening into that conversation. And Steyn said that's correct. Ramasipile asked, just because a cell phone is associated with someone does not necessarily mean the owner is the one who made the call, correct? And Steyn said that's correct. Ramasipile then asked, the downloads also won't show the context of the content of the call. So in summary, we can only see that one cell phone made a call to another. And Steyn said yes. So in summary, CDR shows that one cell phone made a call to another.
Yeah, so I'm hearing that being someone on SABC comment section, in the comment section said he saw Longwe somewhere around 4 ways. He now stays on the street. You see, I understand that might be the case, but be that as it may, I still find it difficult that if that was to be a case, then we're still going to have it hard with us. That means then Longwe probably is not going to take a stand.
No.
Not unless everything has been done and Longwe is back on it again, is back as living a normal life and all those things.
If that's the case.
If that is the case, then it's not good for us. As same as the issue of Kelly. Kelly being called by the defense is not making things easier for this case. Because in a sense, the state has left this case and like a bit of an open case. You know why?
Why?
If you exclude Kelly, who's the center stage of everything right now, if you exclude Kelly and you sort of cast suspicious views of what could have been or what could have been happening or what is happening in a sense, because right now the narrative that is flying is that one, that there were calls that were made to Kelly, which again, I did at some point look at it and I was talking about the same data that now we have to, in a sense, debunk. You understand? Because if we accept that theory, then we should accept all these other theories around the cell phone calls. So I'm just worried about that. So two crucial people, some who have contradicted themselves on the news and everywhere else, they had interviews and everything was going well, are now in a position of not testifying. One at least might be subpoenaed. But that being said, subpoenaing these people, then that means then whatever mess that they do is under defense. Do you understand? And not subpoenaing them, it still makes the defense weaker.
So what do they need to do? Wait for the judge to...
No, the judge cannot do that.
Oh.
So they have to call these people. And the strategy should be different on how to question these people, because what the state has done is to give you everything and everything that is needed. And then all that is left is for you to take everything and point it to you. Do you understand? You call Kelly corroborate the story. Well, Kelly becomes the mastermind. But still your people go down. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because you call that person.
Unless if Kelly deny, like she's been all these 9 years, allegedly.
Deny what? These numbers that they've put here?
Find a way to deny, I guess. Like, what else can she do?
If you look at these things, who did the SIM swap? What was the benefit of doing the SIM swap of Senzo?
Especially on Senzo's phone.
And there's, according to what we're hearing, unless Senzo had two IDs, there's one person who, at the time, who allegedly had Senzo's ID. It was Kelly.
Yes, Accuse Fisokuhle had to go and fetch it.
So the question is, why was that all those things kept? And why did she refuse with those things, as we are told allegedly that she refused with those things? So if you say, okay, let me call her because I need to find the truth, whatever that is wrong that she might say is going to come back to you.
Well, Ramosipele said also that two people made a call to each other is not a criminal offense unless we can listen in on the contents of that conversation and what was discussed. And Steyn said, yes, that's correct. So he demonstrated an exhibit attributing about 10 or 9 cell phone numbers and one landline that belonged to Kelly Khumalo or were linked to Kelly Khumalo. So Ramosipele asked, when you say someone is linked via Ubank, what do you mean by that link?
The choice of words, which after 3 defense has passed, it was corrected towards the end by Msholon in reference to, because you cannot say Emily talked or Emily, if you see Emily's car and you didn't see who was inside, you cannot assume that Emily was inside.
No.
You cannot.
You have to see me.
You have to have seen you to say that Emily was driving a car. But the narrative was flying. And don't get me wrong, the judge always corrects these things. But now what I'm seeing is that the judge only corrects the defense.
Remember how it also confused me when we were talking about it on Friday? The linking. I'm like, what is that about? It was like the clientele and whatnot. Remember? I'm like, what is that about? What are you saying? Are you saying Mandisa called, Kelly called Mandisa, or they called the similar place? What is happening here? Because it doesn't sound like something that sticks.
Yes.
So today I'm glad Ramosipele got into it and asked him what he means by that. And Steyn said, I mean that all the people you mentioned here as an example did call that number. Everyone in court could have called me, so the people did speak to me some other time.
I would like, just for fun, Emil, because I know I have my friends here. Sizwe, I'm just going to point you, brother, because you were believing everything that was said by the experienced men of ours. I would like to ask you a question. If you're still here, are you still on board? Are you still buying everything? As we're still going to unpack some of the loopholes. Continue, Emil.
Well, Kelly, with her other number, contact number, clientele, as well as Muzisibia, you can explain to me that linking concept, is what Ramosipele asked. And Steyn said all of those numbers did have contact with clientele.
You see now, you talk about link, and in a harsh way. You just link. There is a word link. All we're hearing, link. Even Mondays are link.
Dropping bombs.
So, only to say there is a common number that these people were connecting to, which has nothing to do with what was happening. Do you call that analysis?
No.
So, you even say it's clientele. I mean, it's good advertisement for them.
That was so unnecessary.
That they call this number these people who are very important.
That was so unnecessary. I don't understand
why did you
it was
bring
put. It was put in there. Like, these people didn't talk to each other. They both talked to clientele.
And to put that into perspective, there is no link between these people. And all that this man was saying is that they both call one position, which is clientele.
Guys.
Both of them.
Then Ramosipele, quoting from an exhibit, and I quote, it said, no calls were made or answered from and no calls to SAPS on the day of the murder. So your testimony is that Kelly Khumalo, with this number of hers, did not call the police on the day of the event. Is that so? And Steyn said, yes, my lord. Would you know, is any of the targets in the house who called the police, except for Zandie Khumalo, who testified that she never called the police, or the emergency services? And Steyn says, I did check all the numbers of all the people, and I couldn't find any numbers of the police, or even 10-111, or the ambulance. Now this is sad.
That begs the question, what was, because I see that everyone was busy. Considering that the position in which that body was found by the neighbor, then what was Kelly doing?
This is sad. This is sad.
The sister went and ran for help, as allegedly she claims. What was Kelly's position? What did she do? What was she bathing? Was she?
What was Tumelo's
Was she
position?
cooking, finishing soup? What was she doing?
Oh my God, this is so sad. They didn't even try, at least try to dial. Nothing. It's hell. This is sad. This is sad. So Senzo could have gotten help from professionals, and it seems like that was not a priority for them at the time. What could have been so more important than calling an ambulance in that incident? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. What were they busy with? What was more important? So with regards to Mrs. Bia's number, Ramosepele said accused number 1 denies the number, that he doesn't know that number, and he has never used that number.
Now notice this. Every time this man does not know how that number came about in terms of linking,
Yes.
he brings Brigadier Ginindi, either as a team of investigators, which still mean one thing because there's Brigadier Ginindi, or superior, but Brigadier Ginindi comes in.
Well, Steyn responded by saying that is based on the information I received from the investigation team. For some other way, they did connect that number to suspect number 1.
For some other way, which leaves a lot to be desired. What is some other way? As an expert, what would you say it is some other way of connecting this number? What could have happened according to your expertise? After 41 years of doing this thing, what could have happened? What could have been this other way that they used that you couldn't use yourself?
Now, with regards to Mabungu Ntuli linking to Mthobisi and Bongani Ntanzi, that's accused 1 and 2, Ramosepele said accused 1 says that Mabungu Ntuli is his uncle from maternal side of the family. So that is Mthobisi's uncle from his maternal side. Ubani umalume. So Bongani Ntanzi does not know Mabungu Ntuli, and they have never communicated.
Mabundi Ntuli. I saw that name. I saw that name. That's why I started questioning the numbers that were given. If you do a true caller, I think it's forgot the number, but number 3 of those numbers, if I'm not mistaken, it's Mabundi's number.
Mabungu,
yes, Mabungu. I saw that name and I was like, it's not make sure.
So the contact between them, they are family, they know each other. However, the main contact, the number of Sandiso Bongani Ntanzi communicating with Mabungu Ntuli, Ramosepele's instruction were that Sandiso Ntanzi does not know Mabungu Ntuli. He's never met him. They have never communicated. So Steyn said that he had no comment. The link was done by AMB program, and for some other reason, the link was established. So Ramosepele asked Steyn to call out Ntanzi's number. Accused number 2 says that that is his number. Okay. However, he only acquired it in 2019. He never had it in 2014. He didn't use that number in 2014.
Exactly. This man bought this phone, 2019? And the judge comes in here in confusing way. I would put it like that. You start now saying, did he buy it on the street? Did he buy it? Like that's answering in a sense. You know, that's like giving hints. This phone could have bought on the street. But luckily, Colonel stick to his gun by not adhering to whatever that was being suggested by them. Because honestly, that was suggestion.
Leading in
That was like
way.
a bit of suggestion. This is the case.
Pick an
This is the case.
answer.
Do you see now that information, when I said information will confess, if you want it to confess, it will say exactly what you want to hear. This is a classical example. Cell phone bought in 2019 because you are so eager to creating that link, you forget to check when that phone was recorded.
Was Ricard. And you know we have an issue right now where networks are recycling numbers. If it was Ricard by another person and they are given the same number, you couldn't think about that.
So basically, the judge comes in and say, it could have been bought on the street, could have been, why, maybe ask a question like this. And look, from now on, this defense should not entertain the question that the judge suggests
They
to them.
must
In a
tell
sense.
the judge that
And
we need
I
the
like,
answer from the witness.
you know, many people are annoyed by what Mnisi was doing today. But in all honesty, this is the same person who suggested they must put it to these to these witnesses that there was no intruder, and it
Yes.
turned on the very same theory and hit them like this.
Yes.
And at the time, it looked like, I mean, this is someone who's really trying to, assist. But now, I'm in a different position. I don't think that's actually, because don't be tempted into taking those advices, because as you are taking those, you get to be removed from your position where you are standing. And that today is the reason why, according to me, Mnisi was a bit conniving today, because from questioning, everything was going well. Then the judge interferes.
Yes.
And then it is annoying, because you cannot reprimand the judge per se and say, Chief, you're out of line also. You know, now you start now asking questions that are really going to also provoke the same person that is defending.
Yes.
You know, because honestly, I mean, there on those questions, what was Mnisi looking to achieve?
He
We will-
wanted to
Yeah.
verify. We'll get to it. He
We'll
wanted
get
to-
into it.
Yeah. Ramasipile then said accused number 2 is adamant that it was Ricard in his name with his ID in a store. And then Steyn said, I can't comment on that because that number is not Ricard on his name. Could be and may not be.
That is a failure of
Could
a
be
system.
Ricard in another family
Basically,
member's name.
in conclusion, right there, you pointed. Could this be failure of a system as any other system fails? You know, it's not given that the system is going to be 100% correct all the time.
All the time.
Depending on the circumstances and the changing environment, systems are bound to fail. That's why there's always an update and upgrade to these things, because they are bound to fail.
True. Ramasipile said he's adamant that this number was not Ricard in a family member's name. It was Ricard in his name, and he bought the phone in Rustenburg as he was staying in Rustenburg in 2009. His ID was used to Ricard this number, and Steyn said, no, my lord, I can't testify to that because I did trace everyone to prove ownership and I couldn't find it. Now Steyn is admitting something completely different here. Yo, Steyn, what are you saying?
And no one's going to look at that, because everyone is looking for links, you know. And he comes back to that. He say, my lord, what is important here is a link. What link? A link that
But you
doesn't
said
have
you couldn't find it.
a link that doesn't have an SMS, a link that doesn't have anything. It just has where the phone from to, you know.
But you can't be sure that this phone belongs 100% without any doubt belongs to accused number 1.
So exactly what were you investigating further? Because you are given a phone, they say find a link. You are given specific people's names, right?
Yes.
You are failing to find this name, but you further go on without any knowledge
And link.
and link that name, that number. I mean, and you claim that you were not told anything that much about the case.
Bombastic side eye kekaloko. Steyn. Bombastic side eye. There's no way. Then the judge is the part where he interfered, and he said he could have bought it from a shop which is accredited, or he could have bought it by the bus stop where Judge Thamsanqa is selling. Where exactly does he say he bought it? And Colonel Steyn says,
what is the relevance of that? Before an eyewitness or before someone is testifying, gives an answer. You come in, you jump into that. No, man. No, it's not about it. Look, you might have that experience of judgment, but I think as you're sitting there, that experience of being an advocate diminishes in a sense. Because in all honesty, there was nothing wrong with this line of questioning.
And a judge has to be the most objective in that courtroom, right?
And it doesn't seem, at this point in time where I'm standing, it seems as if stones are thrown to the defense. As much as at some point we look at the defense and say, today you guys were underwhelming, we must point it out when they are prepared. They look prepared today,
yes,
but you keep on throwing them off,
yes,
because seemingly to you, there is one thing that they must do, and that thing is to read your mind. What exactly is it that you want them to ask?
And they can't do that.
And they can't do that.
Ramusipili then said after consultation with his client, he had to go to the bench and hear from Bongani what he wanted to say. And then that's after that consultation, he says that his client bought it at a store where he buys his clothes. It was either Duns or True or Markham's. So he buys from two stores every time he buys clothing, and it's either those two shops. He bought the phone and SIM card separately in the same store, and he also bought the 99-cent SIM card, and it was Ricard in store using his ID that he produced in the store, which is how most of us buy phones. I remember the last time I bought a phone, I recorded it in the store.
It's a simple thing. You go to ShowBright, you enter there, they give you what we call a SIM card.
Yes.
They ask you if you are doing a SIM swap,
yes,
where you don't need to Ricard,
yes,
because it's going to be linked to your old number that is Ricard.
Yes, then you do it by yourself.
And then you do it by yourself.
Yes.
But I've bought that one rand SIM card. By the way, that one rand SIM card is the same one here.
Yes.
You know, they wanted my ID for them to Ricard it for me.
Yes. So Steyn said, "My lord, I'm also not clear now," because he started with saying that he bought the SIM card in the store, like as in a contract phone. Now he comes with 99-cent SIM card that doesn't match. Okay, here I was like, okay, Steyn, you're trying to dribble people here. You cannot tell me that you don't know that stores Ricard people's SIM cards.
They do.
So why is he acting brand new and acting like that doesn't happen?
For someone, no, it's not even. It is worrisome that for someone who's this experience with 41 years of experience, still piling to that, does not know. Seemingly, that theory of machinery or of systems getting outdated could also apply to people. If you don't go and read more about what you studied, you will only remember the past and whatever that you were taught. So, is this man well researched, well prepared into investigating new cases that are starting in this day and age? And it doesn't look like that. This is my only opinion,
fast.
obviously.
The technology is fast. Criminals are getting smarter. Okay, so I don't think he can keep up. How are you going to handle a financial crime case where someone has hacked someone's bank account and they've stolen all of their money? If you
I don't know if they do investigate that, but all I'm saying is that whatever that you are doing, if your job is to read SIM card, then learn about new SIM cards.
And how they are Ricard. You can't tell me you don't know that it's Ricard in a store. Not many people of our color Ricard their phones themselves. It's usually they do it at the store when they buy the phone. So Ramasipili then said, we've never said anything about a contract phone. And Steyn said, but that's my point. 99 cents, you don't Rika in store, you go home and Rika there.
Which is a lie.
The one in store is for free.
Which is a lie.
So has anybody Rika'd a phone at home by themselves?
No, it doesn't matter. The simple thing, from my own experience, I have bought a R1 SIM card and it was Rika'd the store.
You can do it yourself.
That's what he was explaining. That's what for me. That's what he was explaining. He was just explaining SIM swap. Maybe I don't know, but.
Well, the judge asked Ramasipili to let the witness respond, and he said, you must clarify that point. You are putting it to him that it can be done with the 99-cent SIM card in the shop. And Steyn said, it can happen. I can stand anywhere and do it inside the shop or running on the streets.
That question was not answered with certainty. It was answered in a what is it? You are. It was like a mockery type of an answer.
You left it hanging.
Yeah. Yes, you can do it in the store, but we are talking about the store people helping you.
Yes.
That's what we are talking about.
So Ramasipili said, when you check the number, you could not determine its ownership, yet you allocated it to Ntanzi. And by his own, he was frank and open with the court and said, yes, that's my number, but I can explain that I got this number in 2019. Then Steyn said, I just mentioned in this court that I got the information from the investigation
Running
team.
Away from the fact that now he got it after this whole incident. After a while.
Yeah, ne?
But because there is a link that must be there, you are going to look at the link. That's all you are interested in. How it was made, that link, the credibility of that link and whatnot, it's none of your business.
Well, Col Khumalo's alleged cell phone was now entered into during the cross-examination, and Steyn says that he didn't know what the make of the phone was. He also verified the number of that phone, and the last recorded activity on that phone was at 11:31 p.m. So when there was a call forward on that phone, after that there was no more activity. But Steyn says that the phone was switched off. There was a lot of people phoning that number. They didn't know that the phone was switched off. Funny how he never mentioned that last week Friday, or did I miss something? He made it seem like it only got one phone call, remember?
It sounded like that.
Well, Ramasipili then asked, Zandile testified that an unknown someone called her with that phone, with that number, demanding money from her. That person was thinking that Zandie Khumalo was Col Khumalo. And Steyn says he'd like more time to go through the analysis of Zandie Khumalo because it's from that number. It should have shown here. Maybe
if it was from that number, yes.
Maybe Zandie was using another number, not that one. According to his AB chart, there was no communication. No one phoned anyone. It's only call forward. So the question here is now, did Zandie lie or what is happening?
Again, people are saying the defense is weak and losing. They are poking the holes. Mm-hmm. The question is, the person sitting there, is he willing to see that? Because this is another hole. The whole of the fact that the system can actually get things wrong. What more do you want? It can misplace numbers, the very same system. What more do you want? They're poking holes.
Ramasipili said, do you know if another SIM card was inserted in that device after the last call you referred to? And Steyn said, no, but you must also remember that we received it long time after the incident. Ramasipili then asked, the last call on the stolen phone was 2052, and that call was made to Col Khumalo by a relative of Senzo Meyiwa, correct? And the judge said there is no evidence like that. Baloyi said that he's referring to the last call received on the 26th of October 2014 at 8:52 from Nokuthula Meyiwa. So Ramasipili withdrew the question.
So in a sense, what is it? What this man is trying to establish is that is there a link between the sister or the family? Since you are a person who would tell about the link, why is this link so selective? They forget, they either not there, Zandie's not there, like, why is this link so selective? Or if that is the case, maybe there were no links at all. Then that means someone is telling lies.
Ramosipili said, my client says he does not know who Patrick Sibia is, and your records is stated that Patrick Sibia at Muzi, and it gives the number. So Steyn said it's his number that I mentioned earlier, that it belonged to him. And Ramosipili said he doesn't know who Patrick Sibia is, and he's never used an iPhone 6 prior and after the incident.
So if this is a system, Emil, if this is a system that gets the name, how does the system get that name wrong? If you are not getting the names, if you are not giving the names, do you understand? Why would you have some Patrick Sibia that does not exist under Muzi's number?
With an iPhone 6.
With an iPhone 6 that he never owned.
Steyn said, my lord, I was told he was in possession of this cell phone. When we did a search in prison, it was way after the arrest, not at the time they got arrested, not related to the incident of 2014. So now I'm confused. I'm like, Steyn, what are you saying? I know that the English, you may not be fluent in the English and you may be more into Afrikaans, but what are you saying? You Steyn, what are you saying? The incident, not related to the incident of 2014. What are you talking about? Muzi was arrested for that incident. Prior to that, the case, what had happened with the case with the alleged girlfriend, I don't know. But what are you saying, Steyn? Then Ramosipili then said, which prison was the search done and cell phones confiscated? Then Steyn said, at Louis Kopo Khosimampuru, because I received a phone from both. So Ramosipili said that accused number one, since his arrest, has never been at he has been at Moder B prison. He's never been at Khosimampuru or Louis Kopo. He has never been to either of those correctional facilities and denies being in possession of an iPhone or that a phone was confiscated from him in prison. And remember, last week during the cross-examination, it was also stated that 2 of Muzi's phones were taken the day he was
arrested. Yeah. So the question is, all this data around that you have created under this phone, does that data still hold? The fact that this is a different make, you came here, you pride yourself with bringing the make of a phone, linking it to a SIM card. Now, the very same thing that you were bragging about, that the system is so efficient. You even told us the stats of Truecaller, 90% accuracy, which is good. I can take it from the state's point of view. Anything above 60 going up, I can take that. So in this case, 90% of Truecaller, and the system that you are bragging about is now linking wrong people, Patrick Sibia, wrong name, wrong make, whatever that comes out of that phone. Is it still credible?
Why did you not make sure at first time?
No, it's not him. You can't blame him. Okay. What happens is, if I come in your table right now and throw the files and say, here we go, please investigate that. You are confined to that.
I can't.
Those are your limits. You cannot go beyond that.
So some of the questions should be answered to the ones who handled this data
yes.
prior. Then Steyn said that then they must follow up with the investigation team, because that is what I received. Okay, I cannot fault
shifting
him on
the blame to the right people.
What can he do?
Yeah, I'm saying he's doing that to the right people.
Then Ramosipili said, your testimony regarding Senzo's phone. His phone was with him at the hospital on the night of the incident. Then Steyn says, I can't say it was with him, but the phone was also at the hospital. How many cell phones did the deceased have? And Steyn said, I only worked with one number. And you know the make and model of the phone? And Steyn said, not
that
a
is
name,
very funny,
but I do have it.
So he's got the cell phone number of Senzo.
Yes.
If you go back to how he established the cell phone numbers of accused number 5, which is a lot, I don't think that man was caught with those phones. In it had to be linked with the name, and then from there get any other SIM cards that have been recorded under that name, under that person. With Senzo, what was difficult about doing that? If you have some information in the form of one cell phone number that is under Senzo, we even know that there was a SIM swap done. What is difficult from establishing if this person has many phones? Since you are interested
did it with
in
suspect
things.
number 5.
Why is it selective?
Well, Zandile said it was an iPhone 5, and Steyn said, I remember the downloader mentioning this in his statement that he didn't have to pin. So Ramosipili then said, statement of Queen Gugu Ngubeni taken at Togoza by Officer Shibiri, said, and I quote, I had people saying that Senzo was shot by criminals. Miss Julia Masia was also in the yard. She came to me and she took my daughter from me. Makumalo came to me and handed to me Tingo, Kelly's daughter.
That is Queen.
Yes, the house keys and a cell phone.
So, I want to ask you a question before you continue.
Okay.
Could it be possible that these files that were downloaded in either Kelly's cell phone or Senzo's cell phone, and then they were nailed under this person who has an iPhone 6 now? What was the model of that phone that was taken? What if that phone was i6? Think about what do you think Kelly was at the time as a main phone?
Well, the one that vanished is the Samsung J something.
And then what was left?
Or was it S4? Samsung S4.
What was
guys?
left?
And then we don't know. I don't know what was left. But a phone was left. She had 2 phones at the time.
Okay, let's continue. This is just throwing in everything there.
All right. So he says, I later realized that the cell phone belongs to Senzo because people were phoning looking for Senzo. I remember Obama Nyesa, Orlando Pirates captain, and Mama J, the Orlando Pirates fan, phoned looking for Senzo, and I gave the phone to my mom to answer.
Now you're getting your answer. It was hard. Why you ask a question, why would Joy call Zandie? Now we are told that she phoned Senzo's phone.
She did.
Or then maybe he was
Allegedly.
given the number of Zandie, and then that's how then
she was able to contact her after they left the hospital. So according to this witness, she was given the phone by Makumalo belonging to the deceased. Do you know anything about it? And Steyn said no. Zandile Khumalo testified that when they came back from the hospital, just beneath the stove, they found the phone of the deceased. So that means it never left the house when they went to the hospital. Then Steyn says, I can't comment on that because I never received any downloads. But if I look through the statement of the downloader, he mentioned that he couldn't open the phone. So the court should ask him when he testifies. Ramosipele then concluded with his cross-examination, which I thought was a good job. Okay. For me, it poked the holes and it made me realize that we were never wrong. This data is very questionable.
it is.
So now it was Mnisi's turn, and sir, it was by mistake when you kept referring to Mabungu Ntuli as accused number 5. And then Steyn said, yes, that's correct. So on a diagram, there's Mncube connected to Fisokuhle Ntuli. In finding communication between them, what did you use? Did you use a SIM card or use a cell phone? Then Steyn said, I used both, number of cell phone and number of SIM card. He said you also downloaded it. So when you did your analysis, did you have the SIM card or the handset? And Steyn said, I only got the end product, which I received from Sergeant Mabasa. So Mnisi said, so it's Sergeant Mabasa who would do the spade work and you would do the analysis. And then Steyn said he also analyzed, but he focused on what he was focusing on. And I worked on Brigadier Gininda, what he wanted me to analyze. We both analyzed. So Steyn insisted that the pictures he displayed in the court on Friday depicting what he says to be accused number 3 were taken from the handset that was found on him when he was arrested and not sent to him by someone else. So Mnisi said, when did contact take place between Mncube and Ntuli? Then Steyn said, I don't know. I was not asked to do a check on that. Mr. Mncube does say that he indeed knew Mr. Mabungu Ntuli because they were staying together and he was accused number 5's uncle. And accused number 5 would come and visit Mabungu Ntuli. That is when they started to know each other. And then Steyn said that's possible. So they knew each other, who accused number 3 and Mabungu. And accused number 5 would visit Mabungu Ntuli. So that's the connection. So if I take a picture on the 12th of February or on the 20th, you request me to forward those photos and I do that on the 20th in your cell phone, what would be the date that's reflected? And Steyn said it would be the date when I received it. But you must also remember there should have been another script under the photo, especially with your downloads. Then you can pick what you've received, that photo, and it won't make mention of the GPEE number he mentioned on Friday. It's clear to me that the photo was taken by the handset. It was not from someone else's phone to that phone. Now, Mr. Steyn started getting aggressive when asked about the picture.
No, but it is true. The phone reading, the picture reading, it also depends on which gadget. And whatever gadget, even if you send it on that gadget, some pictures cannot read. I don't care what laptop you have. I work with what's close to 40,000 laptop, the company one. It depends.
It can't read the date.
It depends.
So you literally need
on a
some
good
type
given
of
day,
software.
there's an issue. There could be an issue with an Apple picture, taking it to what do you call to a normal Android, a normal laptop, or Android phone. Do you understand? It depends. You can't guarantee that.
Okay, so he pointed it in exhibit on the screen, also mentioning the +2 hours again. Mnisi asked for a bigger picture and Steyn said that unfortunately he only has that one. It's a pity his laptop is not compatible with the system, then he should have had everything with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, a picture of a man with dreadlocks and wearing beige clothing was displayed on the screen in court. And Mnisi asked on which date was this photo taken. And Steyn said, if I got my own laptop or the downloader tomorrow, I can indicate to the court everything.
Yeah, so what I want to point out, I know that people might have that. Please like and share, by the way. I know that people might. You see, after all this, after this, Colonel, we should not fault Msiya. To me, they sound like people who were given a task that was seemingly there, and however it was positioned for them to see whatever that they needed to see, so that they convey the message. So don't shoot a message. They might, you know, Msiya might at some point would look lost.
Yeah, and confused.
But in all honesty, these people
was
probably
so hard on him.
the theory of Tifo of saying that what if that thing was staged, and TT when they were, what if that thing was staged? Would you be able to see that? And because they have that confidence also in them, as people who believe that have experience and they deserve to be there, in which I don't question that.
Yes.
But they are not willing to say, maybe there was that element of staging that thing, or maybe there was that element of me giving a data that is actually seeking to create a certain narrative.
Or maybe
You know,
they were pointed
because
as
once you do
were
that,
collecting
yeah.
exhibits, allegedly.
Because once you do that, you look weak of a police.
And you also still have to go back to work and face these people.
Exactly.
This is
So we have to look at theories like that. We have to, at some point when Tifo came with it, we understandable for some of people because they needed to look at the situation, and now they are getting the feeling of what exactly could be the case. When Tifo came with it, it was like, man, Tifo is speculating. Yeah. Everything was like, no, man, Tifo is speculating. But as this case unfolds, it sort of points to everything that Tifo was saying.
So Mnisi asked for that information for the sake of completeness. Mnisi says Steyn to wait for him to beam the exhibit. Baloyi handed over the exhibit. It was done by Sergeant Mabasa and it was not done by Steyn, Colonel Steyn. So Mnisi asked, you were requested to make comments about this photo, right? And Steyn said, yes, that's correct. Mnisi, can we go through one of the photos? And Steyn said, the photos is right in front of you. Mnisi said, but there are 12 pictures. Okay, one of the photo on Friday, that's my statement. Can we have a bigger version of that photo, sir? And Steyn said, that's the only 2 photos I got with me. When was this photo taken? And Steyn said, I mentioned to you that in that block, that's when photos were taken. We are going to go forward and backwards now. Now, Steyn was becoming very, very
defensive.
Yeah, and Mnisi said, I need clarity on that one. And the judge interfered by saying, Mr. Mnisi, this witness testified that there are 2 methods which he as a person who has received the data downloaded, if it was taken, the mechanism will correlate with the time it was taken as opposed to it being taken by another mechanism being transported to your own device. These are 2 different timestamps. And Mnisi said, but I want the witness to tell me when that photo was taken. And Steyn said 2014, 10:26, 5:28 p.m. plus 2 hours, which is equals to 19:28. So
this is Khumalo.
This is Mnisi.
Okay, it is very worrisome, the theory of this. Now maybe we'll see it when we get into Khumalo. This theory of 2 hours.
So he's trying to tell us that he took a selfie on his way to rob the Khumalo household.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
Exactly. That's basically, yeah, that sounds like that.
How do we verify the time and date this photo was taken? Then Steyn said, if you ask the downloader tomorrow, he will do exactly what I'm doing now. I've got my laptop with me and I will do it now. The judge spoke about this device not being compatible, and Sergeant Mabasa is the one who will do it. Mnisi says, so you are not in the position to do it. And Steyn said, I can do it, but I'm not in a position to do it now. Mnisi said, I'll take this aspect up with Mr. Mabasa. Thank you. And also, now they moved to the bigger photo that was beamed. And Mnisi said, you were also asked if the person in this picture was one of the people here in court. And you see it's accused number 3. Then Steyn said, yes. Why do you say it is him? Steyn said, because I can recognize it's the same person. How do you recognize him? I know you are using your eyes. And Steyn said, yes, and the glasses. How do you recognize it's him? And Mnisi asked again, by the nose, ears, you can see it's him. It's not that difficult like Madiba. You can recognize it's him. Mr. Madiba is an international icon. His photos are all over the show. If you work with hundreds of photos of individuals, this is Steyn now, downloads, that picture is clear in your head. Now, he confused me here. When you work with hundreds of photos of one individual, downloads, that picture is clear in your head. So what are you saying? You pulled all the pictures of accused number 3. At the end of the day, that picture is clear in your head. If you see that person in the street, you'll recognize them. What about his nose? He was asked. Steyn said the way his nose is the same as in the photo. I guess you'll say the same thing about his eyes. And Steyn said, no, I didn't mention eyes. Now I can see the color of his eyes. Now he's looking down and he is looking for me sometimes. It's not clear enough to mention the color of his eyes on that photo. And I'm like, what is going on?
Thank you, Isaiah, for a gift. Thank you very much.
I'm like, what is going on? Then this is that you would note the person on the photos has a certain hairstyle. Does the person you pointed out, accused number 3 in this court, have that hairstyle? And Steyn said, no. Are you sure it's him? Then Steyn said, I'm certain. What about his skin complexion? And Steyn said, I didn't say anything about his skin complexion. Don't put the words in my mouth now. And Mrs. said, sir, you said you could recognize him by his nose, ears, and mouth. Steyn said, yes, but I didn't mention the color of his skin for a reason. Mnisi said, is the color of the person not an integral part? And Steyn said, you must be aware that when this photo was taken, he was outside. He was in the sun. And now he's inside. Now I'm like, Steyn, ungaziqhela kakubi. Steyn, what are you saying? Now Steyn eti the sun makes us blacker than black. How did you feel about that?
Look, it shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have gotten to that point. And the only reason why it got into that point is because of the interference. When you interfere, you agitate someone, you make them angry. But the thing is, you cannot push that back to a judge direct. So what can you do? By just making a mess of whatever that is in front of the judge. Because eventually it reached there because of that.
Hi. Then Mnisi said, you are a dermatologist now. And the state intervened. And Mnisi said, my lord, the witness is saying the color of a person when they're outside and when they're inside, like a chameleon. It changes. And then Steyn said, my lord, I think we are wasting time now. Okay? Baloyi objected again. And the judge said, Mr. Mnisi, you can put it to the witness that the person in the picture is not accused number 3. I don't know, but you can do that. Put it to him. And then Mnisi says, say, I am not going to put it to you as the court is asking to me. I am putting it to you that the person in that picture is indeed accused number 3. And I'm like, wait a minute, Mnisi Zandie, what are you doing? But what you are failing to tell this court in your description narrative is that accused number 3 has a very distinctive albaster of skin perfection. His skin complexion is nearly like yours, except you are of... Okay, I'm not sure if I can say this word on YouTube. And he is of African origin. Then Baloyi said, Baloyi objected and said, yeah, Mnisi, I think in my opinion, Mr. Anonymous should have put it to him that is not accused number 3.
No, what Mnisi was driving there, in my own opinion, is that this guy could have been told about accused number 3. And before he reached there, the judge intervened. And then from there, he started now gunning for the getting into that guy's skin, like irritating him, because the judge is irritating him also.
Yeah, the judge sounded like, he was really...
I don't understand
Mnisi.
why this judge, being there, it requires you to sort of take two stories, look at them, and understand both sides, but also defend the defense too. Defend the lawyers.
Why
too.
doesn't he want to answer the question on the skin and the complexion? Answer the question.
Because if you are going to project a black and white picture, and then how are you going to define how you saw me?
You must tell us the complexion. How? Mnisi, after the long adjournment, asked, I've arranged that certain photos be made available to us by the state and be shown. And Steyn said, I don't know where we are going with this. I'm not a picture analyst. Then Mnisi said, you never said you are.
You are, because you now can see people.
You never said you are not a picture analyst. You went on to describe the previous picture, state objects, The state objected. Then Colonel Steyn refused to answer any further question pertaining to the so-called photos of accused number 3, saying that he is a data analyst and not a photo analyst, and further stating that he will not form part of an identity parade in court. But you already have, mister, because you pointed out accused number 3 on the stand. You did. So Mnisi said he won't be dictated to by a witness. You can't deter me from asking these questions, is what he said to Colonel Steyn. And Advocate Baloyi said that Sergeant Mabasa will come and testify. Sergeant Mabasa made an affidavit. So Mnisi said
and that affidavit, by the way, is not also pointing out pictures as such. And this is the problem I have with this whole thing. Someone comes in, they say something, and then they shift it to someone else. Someone else is going to come in. And that person comes and it does not fulfill that part. And when you ask that question, they say, no, you should have asked that question somewhere. So what is the defense supposed to do in terms of, as far as questioning is concerned? What are they supposed to do?
And I even heard Mnisi saying, I refuse to let this go. I'm not going to let it go. Even though the pressure was put on him.
No, serious.
To make him look
what else
like
can
he's
you
lost
do?
his marbles. And he's like, I'm not going to let this one go.
These judges, they have too much power. That's why I don't like this system of one judge. They've got too much power. They can irritate the hell out of you and then take you off the script. And then from there, come back and say, where is this going? Where is this going? Can you imagine when we are in a toilet and we are peeing and then someone is rushing you? Hey, let's go. Next thing you're going to be peeing facing them.
No.
But that's what is happening in that court.
Yeah, it's very uncomfortable for the
Why
defense
is this
counsel.
man impatient? Because
He's very patient with the state.
Yeah.
He's not patient.
They can
with
explain
the
that they are
defense
using MI something he doesn't know. He will write.
He will focus, he will concentrate.
And then
he
with
will
this
take
one,
his
is
notes.
focusing on irritating the hell out of this
and
defense.
stopping them from actually doing what they're supposed to do, which is cross-examining, getting to the bottom of the situation. He always stops them. I don't understand it. Angimtholi kahle. So he needs to.
It's like a judge that has taken position. That's how I feel. When someone has taken a certain position, and that's a problem with such cases. Someone can early take that position, and already whatever that you say is immaterial. So why not bring people who are going to listen, like us, who are going to listen and sit down, want to get to the crux of these things and listen properly and take that thing and go do the judgment.
We haven't even reached a point with this entire trial where a witness is really badgered. There's no badgering of the witnesses.
It is not seemingly worrying that this affidavit of this man that is here today with 40 years experience was only done on the 20th of July.
Oh my God, when I found that out, bombastic side eye. So Mnisi said the court instructed for the witness to identify hairstyles that the witness was wearing, and the judge said the instruction the court gave, it was specifically for those photos, not any other photo. So Mnisi said you identified the person was wearing a head wrap with a ponytail. So what is the difference of the description you gave today and the one you gave on Friday? So here he kind of made a mistake because he did mention the ponytail on Friday.
Yeah.
So
but it mustn't be made a hoo-ha.
They had to listen to the records.
If you get one thing wrong, it doesn't mean that you are a fool.
Then he had to apologize. He apologized to Mr. Steyn, who doesn't want to answer questions. Okay. So I hear people...
Obvious. I understand, David. The jury can be bad because it can be bought. There are people who have big money who can reach it. And so is the judge.
The judge can also be bought.
Where there's human element, they are bound to be faults somewhere, somehow. I mean, human are human, but at least if you're gonna have to pay for 7 people, it's better than paying one.
Definitely. So now moving on to the cross-examination of Zithulele Khumalo for accused number 4. He started off by asking, when did you finalize your analysis? And Steyn said, I can't give you the exact time because it was an ongoing investigation. So Khumalo said, when did you prepare your affidavit? Steyn said the affidavit in court on 20th July 2023. So this was when Lorraine was testifying, witness number 1, before the courts. That's when the affidavit was done, Mr. Anonymous. And Khumalo said, so you get a request in April 2020 and you complete the affidavit in July of this year. Then Steyn said this was an ongoing investigation. So Khumalo asked, did you also finalize the second affidavit around the same time? And Steyn said, yes, after I received a request from the court. What did you do with both affidavits after you prepared them? And Steyn said, I scanned them and mailed them to this side, to Joburg. Where were they handed to? The investigative officer, Brigadier Gininda. Then Steyn said, that's correct. Khumalo asked, I'm interested in the SMS, one dated 26th of October 2014, 4:57:36, with the content, I'm outside. So this is the SMS between Zandie and Longwe. So you said on that time you have added 2 hours. And Steyn said yes. What would be the original time when the SMS is sent to the receiver? Then Steyn said it's under statement 4. You're going to add 2 hours. It's 6:57. Then it's just before 7. You know, now my question is, why are these plus 2 hours only allocated to certain portions of the, and not everything on that?
I'll come back to 2 hours because there's a lot. I see here Ndonga is here at it defending his, his profession.
Okay. So what would be the original time?
Why is saying that he's only gathering evidence? He will evaluate everything at the end at the end and come with verdict. That's a thing that I'm against. What are you evaluating if we are stopping questions that
From
are
the
crucial?
defense only.
What are you evaluating if you are saying some questions have no substance already? In a sense, you are saying that some questions have no substance. What are you evaluating? Already, whatever that you have gathered, because all the time when the questions are about to get heated, there's this disturbance that happens, and then from there you're going to take that and go and evaluate that.
Ingaphelelanga.
That is
It's
half.
short.
Yeah.
It's like half cooked.
And then you come back and say this is what was put in front of me while you were disturbing and interjecting.
So what would be the original time when the SMS is sent to the receiver? Then Steyn said it would be 2 minutes before 7. Would you also see tomorrow in the downloads of Sergeant Mabaya, it will give all the particulars with the +2 or a +0?
When it suits him, he does then touches on the evidence of the other one. By the way, but let's forget about that. Let's look at that 7 o'clock, by the way. Let's just add 2 minutes there. After that 2 hours, you might as well add my 2 minutes. So there was a soccer match playing. That match started at what time?
I can't remember, but it was
Those
around 6.
6, yeah. Those of they said 6.
Talking about it, it was around.
And when
6.
we said, remember when we said this game was still on? People said no, it could have been. This game was still on. Man United and Chelsea game. So this guy came around 7. Actually, let's just say 7, because 3 minutes are shy from 7. Let's say 7. Came around 7, this guy. And the incident happened around what time?
They are saying around 8.
I'm not buying this thing of 2 hours. That's what I'm trying to say.
They are saying the people in the house have pushed it to 8.
In my own opinion, in my own looking at this whole thing could have happened around 6 past 6 or something. That's me.
In your own opinion.
In my own opinion. This 7, it's pushing it closer to 8.
Yes.
Which,
Zandie really worked hard in doing that, I remember.
Yeah, that
She was saying he came at 6 past 6. In fact, she didn't say to 6. She said the past 6, something like 6:30 to 7.
Thank you, Anna.
That's where she pushed it. And then he got in, he ate. And then after he ate, Kaylee was making a joke. And then that's when the intruders came in. Pushing it more towards 8:30.
To the time of whatever that they claim it happened.
Yeah.
But, well, we all have our opinion.
Mina ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi why this plus 2 hours is so selective. Why is it not added everywhere? That's my question.
And the picture, by the way. And the picture.
It's only added on the picture.
And the picture was...
And the outside SMS only.
And the picture was actually
taken. What about
taken.
the rest of the SMSs?
The picture was actually taken around 7, some of the picture, the same day of the incident. So it's like, hey, look, I'm going to do something. Pa, let me get inside now.
Let me get a selfie just
As
before
I
I enter.
As I enter.
Let me take a selfie.
Let me take a selfie.
Patong, hawalina. So the following SMS was found in the downloads of Longwe, confirmed that he didn't shoot Senzo because he mentioned that he was shot in front of them. Now, they asked Colonel Steyn, because that's what he wrote in one of his statements, where did you base that conclusion, Colonel? And Steyn said, it's my personal opinion because the way he put the sentence, he was shot in front of me. That's my opinion. So in my head, I'm like, Koninte off. Why is Longwe being exonerated by Steyn before coming to testify for himself in court?
The fact that this man can say such things.
The boldness of it all.
Because I said that, one word can change everything. Ooh. Like, okay, because I saw it. There are many ways I could have, like, Colonel, there are many ways I could have seen this thing. I could have seen it because I was doing it. I could have seen it. I could have seen it because someone else was doing it. There are many ways.
Your opinion, Colonel, it's very dangerous. Calm down. From an SMS, you could conclude that all of that, Colonel. So Khumalo said what Zandile says is when Senzo was shot, Longwe was not in the house. And then Steyn said, I can't comment on that. I can only comment on what I read in the SMS. Then Khumalo said, so from that, you said he was there. Then Steyn said, it means he was in the vicinity. He knows something because he could have informed someone that Senzo was shot in front of us. Then Khumalo said, you said that the handset of the deceased received a phone call at the clinic. Then Steyn said, that's correct. You also told the court that it received a signal from the tower next to the clinic. And then he said, that's correct. I'm going to reiterate a question that was asked by Mr. Ramosipili. Zandie Khumalo told the court that upon the return from the hospital, the deceased's cell phone was found underneath the stove. And Steyn said, I can't testify on which phone was it. It's possible that they got 2 phones. The one I'm aware of is the one that was downloaded by Sergeant Muswana, which he could download without the pin. And then he seized the phone at 12 midnight that night. So Sergeant Muswana seems to be the one who collected these phones and during the night of the incident. So Khumalo said, you also testified about the SIM swap made on Senzo's phone. When was it made? And then Steyn said on the 27th of October 2014 at about 10. And then Khumalo asked, were you able to ascertain who made that SIM swap? And then Steyn said, we did try, but it was not successful. We tried looking at the vicinity of the tower, but it was too long ago. And Khumalo repeated the question. Steyn, he answered eventually and said, no, but in my opinion, you have to use ID so that it must be someone close to that person. Khumalo concluded his cross-examination. It was now time for Advocate Zandile Mshololo for accused number 5, who took over. And Mshololo started off with the question, did you get the proof from the service provider that it belonged to Mr. Ntuli? And Steyn said, not from the service provider. Steyn says he didn't get proof from the service provider that the number he mentioned did in fact belong to accused number 5. Mshololo then said, you also said that the number was communicating with Miss Kelly Khumalo. Remind me of the dates. And then Steyn said 2nd of August 2014 and 15th of August 2014. So Steyn says that it was on the 2nd of August and the 15th of August of October that the number made contact with the number registered under Kelly Khumalo. Mshololo asked, who called who? Then Steyn said, suspect number 5 called Kelly Khumalo. So which university did you study in, Mr. Steyn? And Mr. Steyn said it's not a university, it's a cell phone data specialist company who are specialists in South Africa. They're not in South Africa anymore, they moved out. The company is called I2. It's an institution where part of training as the police and private companies did that training. Mshololo asked what type of qualification, is it a certificate or a diploma? And Steyn said it's both, depends on how long you are there. And Steyn's first one said it took him 6 weeks, and after 1 2 to 3 weeks. So we can say these are certificates, okay? And then Mshololo asked, how long did you take? And he said 6 to 3 weeks. So Mshololo asked, can you tell this court with certainty if the number said to belong to accused number 2 was used by an accused number 2? Then Steyn says, I can't tell the court. And same with recipient. Then Steyn said, yes. As for who calls and who receives the call, I cannot tell. I can only say that this number called that number. So Mshololo asked, can you tell this court that the person who made the call on such and such a day is Mr. Ntuli? Then Steyn said, that's correct. I can't tell if I saw the phone in your hand. Now, Mshololo was very calm today, in my own opinion. She was very, very calm, and she handled the questions very well. And then Mshololo said, can you tell the number read into court was Ricard in Mr. Ntuli's name and which address? Then Steyn said it wasn't Ricard in his name. So Mshololo then said, so you couldn't determine. Then Steyn said it was Ricard, but not under his name. Advocate Mshololo was called to the bench by accused number 5, who was Fisokuhle Ntuli. And then Mshololo asked, in whose name was it Ricard then? Then Steyn said he doesn't know. So Steyn doesn't know who Ricard, also Fisokuhle Ntuli's SIM card. If it was Ricard by him. He doesn't know that, guys. So Mshololo then said, and then the address, Steyn said, I'm not sure if it was in his name. Mshololo then said, if you say it was not Ricard in Mr. Ntuli's name, how can you say it belonged to him? Then Steyn said, the information I have is that it was used by him. Then Mshololo said, who gave you that info? Then Steyn said, Brigadier Gininda. Mshololo asked, through your investigation, was it placed at the crime scene on the date of the incident? Then Steyn said no. Mshololo asked, can you tell this court if you were able to pick up the conversation between the two devices? And Steyn said no. We started working on this case after some time had passed and we could not apply Section 205. Is it true that Ms. Kelly Khumalo is not a suspect? Then Steyn said yes. Then Mshololo asked, from your investigation, does your evidence inform this court if there's anything that was conspired between Mr. Ntuli and Kelly Khumalo? Then Steyn said, no, I can't. So Mshololo said, is there any illegality between the communication between the number you said belonged to Mr. Ntuli and Khumalo? Then Steyn said, if there was, I can't prove it. So besides that person giving you the information from your own investigation, when you investigate and you find that the number of that person is discovered that it was connected with the crime scene and it was used by the owner of the cell phone, then Steyn said, that's correct. If you can just refer to that number, then we can see if there was a phone call that was made in the vicinity from which tower. They can tell if it was made by, let's say, Kelly or Zandie Khumalo, but you cannot tell him with certainty as to who was using that number. Then Steyn said, if I have witnesses who can state that, then I can prove it. And Mshololo then asked, from the investigation that you have done, does it show with any degree of certainty the communication between accused number 3 and Mr. Ntuli shows any conspiracy to commit an offense? And then Steyn said, no, I can just tell the court that there was communication. So Mshololo asked for a pause and she will continue with the cross-examination tomorrow with regards to the towers that were used. And Steyn said there isn't any towers that connect with the suspect.
No, Mshololo was good today.
I'm sure it was good today.
Again, also manages to bring from the investigator, when this man is in doubt, brings the investigator's name. And yeah, that's basically what we are gathering. As we continue, he's going to keep on bringing that until he's gone. But Mshololo today was calm, and the calm Mshololo is much more better than the one who's shouting. Because you end up saying things that you're giving the chance to object. There was less objecting. There was fluidity in everything.
The questions were very much relevant. The questions were the questions we all had.
And by pointing out double standards in a sense, because is it correct that Kelly Khumalo is not a suspect in this case? And they say, yes. Do you understand? That's like a double standard, because we have people who are there who are linked by the very same number.
Yes.
Why is he not there? Why is she not there?
I heard another lawyer actually commenting on the news channel saying that actually all 12 of them are supposed to be there, in his opinion.
We can take that.
They're supposed to be there and standing as the accused, especially since they've kind of infused a bit of 375. It doesn't make sense that they are not there, because if it happens that the accused are not found guilty, what's going to happen with the rest? The ones who were in the house on the next one. What's going to happen?
So the intent of arresting the so-called mastermind, I don't know how. You can come in many directions. But be that, you still need to arrest someone then.
True.
So basically, these links that are being drawn here are proven right by Kelly being outside, that these links mean nothing.
They mean nothing.
The fact that Kelly is still outside, based on these links that we are seeing, and they mean nothing. They literally there to make us feel somehow, but they actually mean nothing.
No, they don't mean anything.
Because the state should have said you in, because there are links also.
Yes, she should have been arrested if that was the case, but she's not. She's a free woman.
Exactly.
So
she still gets to see Instagram, write things on Instagram. So
there's no way.
These links are basically a waste of time.
They are, honestly speaking, in my opinion. So it's pointless.
Not unless this is one sort that only cuts on one side, not the other side. So if that is the case, then I can also understand, because there are many things that are happening here.
I think we should open the lines now.
Yeah, I'm preparing for the lines.
I should open the lines and hear what you guys have to say about today's proceedings. But I feel relieved in a sense of saying that we were not wrong about Colonel Steyn's data thingy.
With no knowledge of law.
No. It's just the data itself. It wasn't giving what it was supposed to give.
But the data side.
That's why I couldn't get excited when people are like, oh, Kelly Khumalo. I'm like...
But the data side icon, you can't fault us on the data side.
The data is not telling me what you guys are seeing.
The data side, Pella.
She should have been arrested. If that was really the case, she should have been arrested.
The data side, all right, the lines are open.
Yeah, you guys can call in and share your own opinions and tell us what you thought about today's proceedings. One I'm happy about.
Mzansi, hello. Hello?
Okay, let's give it a moment.
Let's give you a moment. Just give it a moment.
We are connected.
Hi, how are you? Hello, can you hear us?
Am I on it?
Yeah, you are on.
Okay, how are you, Emily?
Hi, I'm good, and you?
Okay, I think there's a delay on my side, or maybe your side, I don't know.
Yeah, you can just shoot.
You can shoot.
Okay, guys, but this is simple. The state is fooling us in this case. They are trying to do damage control. I think it is alleged what I'm going to say now.
Yeah, it's allegedly.
If I was right.
Yeah.
If I was right when he said the person who shot Senzo is Kelly. Yes. So now they want to put Kelly there as a mastermind, just to confuse us, just to create some confusion around it. Because she's got nothing to lose, because she's already on the roll as we speak now. So if 375 has to be brought forward, she's going to be arrested, because she's the one who pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents comment, guys. Thanks for listening on the radio.
Okay. No, get you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Everything is alleged. Let's see if we're going to get another caller. I always fear. Let me read this. Okay, this one was just an earlier one. Someone saying that we are waiting for you. You guys have WhatsApp. You WhatsApp us to say you're waiting for us. Hey. Yeah, so you guys can call. So time now to vent your own thing. Everything that is said here, obviously, is alleged. Please like the video and share the video. Subscribe if you are not subscribed. Join the membership if you are not part of the membership. Zandie, hello.
Hello.
Zandie, hello. How are you?
I'm fine, Mr. Anonymous, and yourself?
I'm all good. I'm all good.
Yeah, and also great to meet Emily.
Yes.
Yeah. Guys, it's a guy waiting for the ticket, which I told you by the way we were puzzled by this shock. I told you that I'm gonna come on Monday.
Yeah.
And I talked about this alone.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
I told you guys that Mshololo is gonna come back. Don't worry about this data analysis and stuff.
Yeah.
You see, if you check Mshololo, the way that she conducted herself as a counselor, it was so peculiar, and it could bring the attention, or say, collect the attention of the judge, who was scattering the counselors, which is Mnisi advocate, the second advocate, but he didn't do that in Khumalo, because Khumalo, you can see that's my second number. That one.
Yeah.
So my point is here, I want you guys, I'm not going to dwell on this proceedings of today, because it's already analyzed, and I told you that you're going to be at ease, because Mshololo even showed the fact that the term that we are using here to show that everything is alleged. If you could hear, he was always telling me this white guy, that is an alleged. I remember there was a question, I even wrote it down, and it reminded me when she wins, if you can see when she wins, when she's suspecting something. Mshololo asked that, how did you know that it was my client who if you say that the what you call was not Ricard under his name. And then he started to be puzzled, and then Mshololo started to do that Emily that and ask the what you call the interpreter to interpret it again, because he couldn't answer. So my point is, I like Mshololo the way that he conducted herself, to such an extent that here I see the judge is too much excited, and to such an extent that he's ruling between the councillor. In fact, he's ruling between the councillor and the what you call the state. Because now I think that first thing of we needed a judge who's going to speed up the process. He took it in a manner that, and put it in a manner that it's not supposed to be applied. So he's pressurizing the what you call the councillors. I'm not going to get into that much, but I can see, as you posed that question, is anonymous. But all what I say is an alert. There is something that I wanted you guys to check, because the Colonel she just took all the points according to what I wanted, and she spoke there's one thing that before I come to this point that I want you guys to notice. Don't be excited by Baloyi when Baloyi is trying to object each and every time and think that maybe Baloyi now. This councillor is on point because Baloyi is focusing questions based on protection. No, Baloyi was deeply fighting by sh0t, and he as a manager, I respect him. But today, all of these councillors were on point. Nevertheless, I want you guys to check. I'm going to leave you with this question of Longwe and Kelly. So to these two people, if you check the story that has been alleged by all, but told by all that this is a stage thing. Now there is Longwe and Kelly, and there is these 5 people that were fighting and running after the sh0t, but Longwe and Kelly ran before the sh0t. So I want you to get that picture. I'm going to leave you with that picture. Why these 2 people are being chased away, are running. These 2 people, Longwe ran away and Kelly ran. You see? Then these 4 were fighting and they ran after the fight. And here there is a father of Longwe and there is a mother of Zandie Khumalo. Put Longwe on the left and put him on the right and put the father of Longwe on top and put the mother of Zandie Khumalo down. And see on the second and ask these questions of why Longwe say if you check on the statement, there's 11 lies that Longwe, but I don't want to tell other people that I will get that maybe at some time. I want to give other callers if I have a caller that are coming. But I want you to give you this picture that when you lie, from the first lie up to the second lie exposes you of you are not honest, because Longwe lied 11 times. Look at that speech that he made it on that interview of Metro Radio. And I so wish, and I know those guys will see that interview. And it will expose Longwe, because Longwe said, I was the coward of the day. But the same person stood up to defend everyone. How could you defend everyone and become a coward of the day in the same second? At the same time, he said he pushed the first suspect. And then while he was pushing, he noticed that the second suspect has got a gun.
Yeah, let's give others a chance.
Yes, I will do it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Cele is talking about creating methodology requires to formulate hypothesis. Now, this platform has formulated hypothesis. Then please allow the judge to also test his hypothesis. No, man. There is a creation of an hypothesis, and then in the very same hypothesis, you have where you say it is true or it is what it is. And then you have on the other side, on that hypothesis, where you say it is an opposite of what you are looking to prove.
Yes.
So you cannot discard us when it comes to that, because you are simply saying that your hypothesis has one side of it, which is what you are claiming that we have created. We are creating both sides, and that's what you do when you do your research. I think you must get your facts proper there in terms of.
I mean, last week we were sounding like we're on Kelly Khumalo's side.
Exactly. That's what hypotheses mean.
And people came for us. You guys were so bad. You were so upset. You're like, why does it sound like it? No, it wasn't about defending Kelly. It's about seeing that the data is not nailing her. It's not really giving what it's supposed to give. If the data really, we had to rely on it. That was what it was about. And we could have gone and made the outrageous accusations, but we don't have enough. It doesn't suffice.
So for you to test your hypothesis, you need two sides of the. You can test your hypothesis in one way. There is no such things in research. You have to both test the side of whatever you want to prove, and then you must leave the space for what could be false.
Yes, you must.
That is how, I don't know, that's how we create hypotheses in statistics. I don't know, maybe there's a different way of creating hypotheses.
So in summary, or in summary of what today highlights, number one is that none of the people called the ambulance or the police.
Yeah.
Number two, no data that was given points to a plotting of a conspiracy to commit a crime. Meaning we need those phone records. Okay, we need the recordings. We need to listen to the conversations. And then number three is that the number that was linked to Fisokuhle Ntuli was not registered in
one of the numbers.
Yeah,
yes.
one of the numbers was not registered in Fisokuhle Ntuli's name, which is accused number 5. So those are the summaries or the main points of today's proceedings.
I don't know how you create your own hypothesis, Stella. I would like to see yours, but according to how I did mine, it has both sides. I needed to prove one.
Yes.
I needed to prove the situation where my hypothesis is not, it does not exist or it's not true.
And it couldn't be 100%.
So I don't know, maybe yours is different. Thank you, Zuki, for joining membership.
Thank you, Zuki.
Yeah, guys, you can continue calling if the number still permits. If the number still permits.
Please call us. We want to hear what you thought about today's proceedings, especially the manner in which the advocates handled themselves today. For me, it was very different. It was variety. They were not using the same approach. And I know that many people are not pleased with Advocate Mnisi. But isn't that what we were saying with Advocate Difo not so long ago? In fact, he's more toned down. I'm not saying that they are the same. But sometimes you have to push a bit. And I would be happy being a client seeing my lawyer fight for me instead of relaxing and letting things slide. I even saw accused number 3, Mncube. He was happy to see his lawyer fight for him. You know? He felt a bit of relief. You know, it's very depressing to see a lawyer who is feeling powerless and helpless. How are you supposed to feel? And you're the one stuck in the jail.
No, but Khumalo actually can leave other certain things. I think I like his approach.
I like his approach too.
When he comes hard on certain things. And he feels that he is going to be cornered. And I think it has to do also with the judge. He just lets it go. He just lets it go.
Yeah, he lets it go. I remember with the
Zandie, hello.
situation.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, my man.
All good, all good.
Okay, anyway.
Yes.
It's Charles, no?
Yes.
Yes, I understand Mjolo,
Yeah.
but the point is one.
Yeah.
Those people, they know. They know. But my point is one. Why was a question that is what we want. The buyer one at the
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
It's
going to take long, though, to seek help.
why is it Tiana or Mr. Kelly or okay, Shab, after Colonel the Colonel or whatever, and then what will be the man?
Sergeant Mabas.
Oh, Sergeant Mabas, I think.
Okay, Sergeant Mabas.
Yeah.
Okay, Marina King.
State, that is towards the ends, like when the defense comes in, because it's not part of the state.
They understand, but Narvata King.
No, we heard you. We heard you,
No,
but
Kelly,
we heard you.
Yeah, after accused 1 and 5, I think. After their
how many people the state made the state witnesses? Do you know?
It's a lot. The highest number we have is 28. Now, witness number 28 was Mthobisi Mncube.
There's probably 70 something.
Yeah.
So let us see what it is. No, I hear you, my man.
So
let's hope that they will bring you Kelly very soon.
Come to Ramadan. Oh, my God. Narvata Kelly Pella. A testify, Remnade, Ronu Disarta, Mara no Marakashaba because of Awanaga, Kadania, Yorba, Colonel, whatever, Illuminati because of defense in Kaili, loophole, line. Marantere batang rebata Kelly. Fela. Kisi I follow every day.
Okay. All right. Let us hear what others are saying. Maybe they want someone different. Let us hear what they are going to say.
Thank you very much. Maranarbata Kelly.
Okay. All right. Let me take WhatsApp calls because I see many people are calling from WhatsApp. So now I'm going to be taking WhatsApp calls only. Let me see if we're going to be able to connect. Many people have been calling, but problem is that WhatsApp disturbs the other call. Right. Just going to give you time, guys. What's up, guys? You only buy data. Then you can call. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Thank you for those who have subscribed for today. Let me call this man. Just gonna call him because he's been calling. Right.
So another question is, how come? Okay.
How come?
How come his phone and SIM card that he bought in 2019, the investigation shows the number is active in 2014?
Zandie, hello. Hello? Hi, how are you? Yes. It's possible would buy booze, but my thinking, this is my thinking, before they even ask, I don't think these gadgets are there anymore. They were supposed to keep them as evidence, but I'm sure they gave them back.
I think they returned them. There was a statement I think that Tumelo made that he waited a week.
Yeah,
his phone.
yeah, I think so. So
yeah,
you're probably not going to be getting them anymore.
A week for his phone to come back from the police, and I think they gave it back to him in that week.
You probably will not be getting them and be seeing such anymore. They are not available. I don't think they are available. So whatever that you have as what is evidence CD or what do they call?
That has been downloaded.
That's what you have. That's my thinking. Unless then you use cell phone numbers and you go to these service providers.
Yes.
Yeah, then you can get in terms of what happened to the SIM card. Yes, you can still get that. That's
but those
basically.
phones would have been really handy.
Nzansi, hello. Nzansi, hello.
Hello, Mr. Anonymous. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Hello.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Yes, Mr. Anonymous. A very good. It's a morning already. Good morning to. You are so good. You are so good. Why don't you guys? Get. A law firm. Because you are just good.
Lawyers.
We're not lawyers.
We are not lawyers. We are not, eh? But yes, if I was,
Yeah.
I would represent people.
I think that you make. Hello, do you?
Yeah, you
Yes.
can.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Yes, I think that you are very good analysts. You should consider, opening up a law firm. You make a good team.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate, your good self. And I also raised, some other things, about Mr. Vaseline. Is he related to Rosemary Ndlovu, allegedly?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Okay, no, thanks. Let me not waste time, for others, but you make a very good team, good analysts, good lawyers. You are, and thank you very much, Mr. Anonymous and Sis MD. Thank you very much. Okay, bye.
Thank you, bye. Bye.
you're like giving me ideas.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys?
All good, sir. How are you?
Good. No, guys, I just want to thank you first for good work with us, Emily, and you, Mr. Anonymous.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I don't have much to say except one thing only. Uguti, apparently nobody called the police, right?
Yes.
But now, if I remember correctly, Ukaya, the guy from next door, who was testifying that somebody jumped over to their yard, right?
Yes.
Ukaya had mentioned apparently that his dad told him to call the police.
Yes.
And it is strange that nobody called the police, and the person that actually took the initiative to call the police is now dead. Ngicina lapho nje phela.
Nguzwa kahle mfethu.
That's all I'm saying. But also, kuningi nje. Also the judge. My view is that the people behind the cover-ups, the powerful people, I don't think they would have allowed a neutral judge to come and do the right thing. If behavior that judge is very suspicious, it becomes emotional and distracts the council whenever they are going somewhere, and it distracts them. So I know. I just want to say that. But thanks, guys, for good work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
We have been traumatized by Maumela, ne? We don't have the patience for another.
But that's basically what we got. Please.
We can't wait. With Maumela, we're very respectful. I think it took us a good period, like maybe the whole of 2021, to just see and figure him out and just be patient and not really be too into, but what's up with this judge? I don't understand.
Today say you respect the chair.
I don't understand what he. But we it was difficult holding my tongue, but I did.
Allegedly,
for the respect.
Some of this comment is out of topic and review. Can you guys do? Okay. Yeah.
What comment is out of topic?
No. I understand. I'll explain to you. So guys, please like the video, share the video. And I think for me, Emil, today, it's Monday, until tomorrow, there's still going to be a long day. Let's hope that tomorrow there's going to be someone new coming in. And let us enjoy our good morning. And then for those who are going tonight, then it is night to them. Thank you very much, guys, for being with us. I think me, on my side, I'm done.
Yeah, and we are out. Until the next one, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget to like the video. We're still begging for likes.
We are.
Bye.
We are begging for likes, guys. We are. Just for reminder, and those who still want to know what to do, just follow that link. The last call, Zandie, hello. Zandie, hello. Zandie, hello. Ngikhona senjani?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You live?
Yes, we live.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah.
Ukhuluma noLinda lapha mfowethu.
Yebo Linda.
Ngithi mina ke ngike ngabuka enye yamavideo kaChico. Ngiyakhumbula uma ngabe ethi uzana. Ube kade uChico wafika esibhedlela. Yes. uChico beconfess lapha kwenye ama-interview uthi wafika ukheli wamfonela, I mean wathola ikholi kuseduze kuphela. Noma engasho ukuthi ufonele ubani. But uma efika lapha ufika uSenzo umfica ulele ubheke phezulu but phakathi endlini. Remember ukuthi uzana uthe uChief wafika esibhedlela. But uChico uconfesse wathi yena ufike endlini kwathi.
Yes.
Not esibhedlela. So nje ayikhona kudlaliwa ngathi. Kudlalwa nje ngathi la ngoba i-testification kaZandie ayifani nezinto ezishiwa abanye, even ngisho umakhelwane nabo izinto abayisho azifani nazo ezisho ukuthi.
Yes.
I mean kuzana.
No,
ngiyabonga mfethu ke ngilive emsakazweni.
Sikuzwa kahle, siyabonga mfethu. Thank you.
Alright.
Yes. Well, that's our last caller. It's a bye from us. Thank you, Ndonga. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Snehlanhla. Thank you, Sizwe. Bye.
Bye, guys.